Thank you so much for having me here. And the reason is probably not that we just did a hackathon. I think the most important reason is that we had one of the 7 tracks as our global digital identity track. It's extremely exciting for me to be here because what we want to do is interconnect all the international networks and ecosystems that are actually building stuff and basically get movements going. This is the picture from Sunday at the end of the hackathon. You can see quite a few people are there. We had over 1,000 visitors throughout the weekend, over 700 participants in 7 tracks. So I'll take you through why we are doing this as part of the largest open ecosystem-driven innovation program in Europe, as well as how the hackathon actually is let's say, an exponential innovation instrument and what came out of it. And then especially, of course, I have the pleasure of the winners of the Global Digital Identity track presenting their solution here on stage with me. So that's quite fresh. Let me start by why I think this Internet of Agreements is so important. I really believe that in order to get to the next level, let's say in international collaboration, we need an abundance of trust in order to solve all the global challenges that we are facing as a global society. And right now, if you look at how we coordinate basically our society, how we coordinate our planet, you could say that we use an operating system to run our society. And that operating system is rooted in the past century, where trust is still based on institutions and paper. And that's why we have the lovely IT infrastructures that we have now, where everything is based on, databases and their organizations running it. And that's okay, but we clearly see that we are moving away from that and that we need a new kind of operating system run by us, and that we are going to use it to coordinate everything you want to do on this planet in a much better way. So, let me just ask you a question. If we talk about trust, can you help me a bit and give an image of trust? What does trust look like?
Seatbelts.
Seatbelts.
They never fail.
Thanks to Volvo for opening up that patent, right? Any more images? I mean, a tree is easy to have an image, but trust, it is so important. This is the crucial thing for any type of human collaboration. Can you give me what does it look like?
Stepping off the edge of a cliff.
And then?
I'm trusting.
That you will encounter gravity? Yeah, okay. So there we see that although we and who is in a trust business here? Okay, so are you involved in generating trust, facilitating human collaboration? So who here drives a car? Yeah. So think about this. If you go into your car, you participate in the traffic system. Do you encounter acquaintances? Do you meet acquaintances down the road a lot? No. So I think trust enables us to collaborate without the need of knowing each other. And this is exactly what we do in the lovely system and the collaboration we do as humans, which we call traffic. So how do we organize trust in the system of traffic? All right, let's start with the infrastructure. We maintain it. We have a safe infrastructure. Then we have a protocol. It's the same for everyone. We have rules. Yeah. We are also, if something goes wrong, we need insurance. And then we know things will be fixed. We also have ambulances, we have police, governing the rules. We also audit drivers, we audit vehicles, we certify them. And so you see there are all kinds of organizations and certificates that are added to the system, which allow us to take part in the system of traffic autonomously and trust each other. And I think if we move, I mean, all you have to do is plug in the key and drive off, and then you're in the system, and then it works. So that's something to keep in mind when we are designing these new online collaborative ecosystem, I think, is that the trust is not a 1 or a 0. It's a certain amount of trust we can create in order to make these systems run more smoothly and better. So when we say we are moving away from the old operating system because it is basically failing more and more in our interconnected world, and we are moving away to networks of trust, we also need a new kind of mindset and a way to approach this. Basically, any good blockchain project or initiative, so to say, that really works is more like an ecosystem, is more like a movement. So there are all kinds of different values that were important in our past, in our current operating system, and we're moving to other values where we can get this exponential leverage. So then the question becomes, if you want to take everybody with you on your road, because we're talking about the fabric of our society here, so it's not like we can just develop something new and have that disrupt our society, because it's not just e-commerce. It's not just information or just media like we have done now with the internet. This is about our society and every process that is linked to it. This is serious business, right? And so how do we explore new land without maps? And that's where we thought of our open innovation program, which is really ecosystem driven. You need all players, all stakeholders on board, just like what Michael and Vinay just discussed. We need to create movements where all stakeholders, including the end user, are involved and basically find common ground, ability to get towards understanding, and then get into a collaborative mindset with each other. So these connections are forged, so to say, not by just talking and sharing ideas and opinions, although that's of course still very important, but by actually collaborating with each other and building new stuff. Because this next operating system is not just owned by who? The government? Private businesses? No, it's owned by everybody. So, this is why we have developed a pace in the ecosystem. We have a preparative phase where thousands of people participate. Then we have the momentum, and then we have the part where we accelerate. So the preparation phase, this was the picture of last year, by the way. So we did last year on accident, we did the largest blockchain hackathon in the world. I expected 200 people, 500 showed up. And that's when we did it for the first time. And then trust me, you learn a lot. This year we kicked off the innovation program in the Dutch National Hall of Knights. Vinay was there.
This is literally the throne room of Dutch crown.
Yeah, you can't really see it on the picture here, but here's the throne of the king and its queen.
So imagine the kind of 600-person blockchain meeting in Buckingham Palace. This is how far things have advanced.
Yeah. So this also shows how strong the partnership is with the Dutch government we have, but also I think the willingness of the Dutch government to invite the international community and discuss basically on this conference, what should we do this year together in order to move forward to the next level. And what that next level is all up to everybody. So this is a really collective effort to get to a common understanding of that. Then we are entering the deep dives. So on technical level, on the legal and regulatory level, we did that with the Authority for Financial Markets. How do you fund initiatives? But also on specific topics. I already told you we had 7 tracks. Global digital identity is one of them. So we did one of the deep dives on identity at the Ministry of the Interior and Kingdom Relations. And they take it pretty seriously, opened by the Dutch State Secretary. And so we do that on health, on the future of pensions, on the energy transition, on digital nation infrastructure, the machine-to-machine economy, and I think I didn't mention it, on public safety and security. We do that with the Dutch police. So there you see all these different parties involved. What we also do is deep dives with our members of parliament, because, like it or not, you do need some politicians in the movement as well, especially when it's about trust. You need to connect with the representatives. And the other way around as well. They need to connect with the ecosystems as well. And then it was last Friday, and we kicked off the largest blockchain hackathon in the world. And I want to, I have the pleasure here to show you the after movie, which we edited yesterday. So it's really, really fresh. It's not even out on YouTube yet. And there you can see Vinay having lots of fun. He's really, really taking it in, so to say.
And the space, what you can't see is you're looking at about a tenth of the size of the room. The thing is the size of an aircraft hangar, and it was jam-packed. Like, the scale is impossible to convey.
Let's see if the sound works. Oh, wait, just a little bit about the hackathon. So it's 3 days, but actually it was 4 days because we had 11 master classes where everybody could really boost their knowledge, whether it is about Hyperledger or Ethereum or BigChainDB, Ocean Protocol, one last chance to get the latest knowledge from everybody. We had the pleasure of Mihai Kimpuso as well, doing a masterclass on Ethereum. And then what is really important at such a hackathon is that you have a lot of roles that support all the teams. So can you imagine that there are 20 people from the largest pension fund provider in Europe managing 400 billion euros of pension fund money, 20 people from them working with the teams so that they can get all the knowledge from the pension chain and the pension domain they need to create those new solutions. And it's not just about problems. I think if you only look at solving problems, you miss all the opportunities that arise when you do something new, and just all kinds of new opportunities arise from there. And you will see at least one example of that where the world completely changes because there's an introduction of a new building block, so to say. We developed our own canvas. It's a derivative, of course, of the business model canvas, because you want to get from idea to prototype really fast, and you need a canvas that helps you in a collaborative space. This is open source, so feel free to use it. We have all the canvases of all the teams on the website, and we use a really appreciative approach in scoring all the teams, because it's all about the solution in the team on one hand, and then of course it's about the potential of the team and the solution after the hackathon, and also the impact the solution can get. Yeah, let's go.
Somewhere, something incredible is waiting to be known. Welcome to the Blockchaingers Hackathon.
You will build these amazing solutions, and you will take them far beyond this hackathon into the real world. I know that you will make it happen.
Keep in mind that you are my ambassador for a better world.
More than 700 Blockchaingers, machine-to-machine energy transition, health, public safety and security, global digital identity, digital nations infrastructure, future of pensions.
your solutions impacting 1 billion lives.
This is the biggest hackathon that we have been to so far, so next level on our experience. Level up.
Well, if you want to take it to the next level, you have to actually impact people's life.
We got a choice to make about how we run this planet. I think it's very important that the human race becomes adult, and I think blockchain is an essential technology to facilitate that transformation.
There's a lot of good ideas. Some of them are applicable in the next few months. Some of them are really short-term benefit that can really make life better for everybody. Some of them are really futuristic. They will happen in the next 5 to 10 years.
Can you imagine your unexpected discovery changing our perspective forever?
We are going to do things fundamentally different. The question is how, and that's where people here find answers.
For now, we start here, yes, of course, but it's very scalable, so we can grow even further to the international market.
It's not that you do this and you know for sure that you're going to hit it. What happens is, if you don't do this, you know for sure you're not going to. So we make these endeavors, not because it's the simple, easy way of doing things, but because it's the price of participation in the future.
So if we can make this in such a short amount of time, who knows what we can do in 100 days.
This is the first one, and I think I'm gonna go again.
I think the government also has a responsibility not to stay behind, but to be part of the front-runner group.
What I think is really powerful this way is that you bring together the coders, you bring together people with the creative ideas, and the potential clients, the businesses. So it's the government and the corporates. And so I think that is really powerful.
I was in the judge room and I saw how difficult it was to decide which project is best. And I can assure you, I visited most of them in the few hours I was here, and I was impressed by all the implications of projects which have been created in only 4 days.
We can't talk about blockchain all the time. We have to talk about what it is doing. And we have to think through how this is actually changing our society for the better. Because we do have to take everybody along.
We created a blockchain solution that is creating transparency in the whole distribution chain of medicine, especially in countries in Africa, where we have created provenance so that at the end of the road we can confirm that the medicine is authentic by the time it reaches the patient.
Our solution is that we create pension awareness for millennials via microtransactions. They can see that they invest €1 of deposit money from plastic bottles, and they can see that it'll be worth €14 when they retire.
The problem is that in medical research, participants are not well informed about how they can contribute their data. So we built a matchmaking platform to link data donors to researchers in such a way that their privacy is preserved and they are well informed about all the opportunities. So we empower the participant to be in control and help accelerate research.
We solved the problem that when you move, the worst case scenario is that you get disconnected due to miscommunication between the operator and the supplier. And we gave insight real time to all involved parties, and everybody always know what the contract status is of your energy switch.
Our solution is a solution for the supply chain of weed, such that we have a transparent way to track the production, selling of weed to end users in such a way that the end user remains anonymous where necessary. You can still enforce the rules.
We came up with a self-conscious house which tracks its own life cycle and helps the owner of the house with maintenance decision making and suggests on improving itself.
So we've put blockchain on drones, and you can do all kinds of cool stuff with this. So you can go explore rainforest, you can do search and rescue, you can have drones delivering resources to build other drones. So we provided a whole ecosystem where drones can collaborate and solve all kinds of problems.
So this is, it's the second edition. We'll probably do more. And I see, okay. So Thanks for that. I want to invite the team, the winners, a big round of applause for the winners of the identity track, ladies and gentlemen. Jelle van Ploeg and Berit. And they will, as part of the acceleration program we have, and we fit that on each of the winning team. We take them to a lot of international stages and connect them, try to really get them going because you want to reach from the prototype level towards the first 100 users within a couple of months and see how that will work. And there's all the funding and support needed there in the ecosystem, which is growing. Do you need to plug your laptop in or?
Yeah.
Okay, so I will do that, and then you take the stage.
Sure.
All right. Well, thanks to Rutger's nice video, which I hadn't seen myself yet. I don't think I have to do a really long introduction. So the problem we wanted to solve is the fact that in the distribution of medicine, especially to low and middle income countries, in our case we were specifically looking at African countries, a lot of medicine get stolen, completely lost. We don't know where they end up, probably on a black market. But also counterfeited medicine are being put back into the distribution channel. And the yearly cost of this is huge. $30 billion a year of medicine that get counterfeited, medicine that gets delivered too late because there's intransparency is a waste of about $60 to $90 billion. And on top of that, more than 10% of all medicine get lost. So, but those are monetary problems. But another big part of the problem is the fact that when a patient over there gets a box of medicine, he's actually not sure that medicine will work because he doesn't know that it's real. So what we try to do is we try to create not just transparency throughout the whole supply chain by recording each and every handover moment that a medicine passes hands from one party to the other, but also we created an application that at the end of the track allows you to establish provenance and just plainly tell, is this real medicine in this box or not? So I think Jelle will take you through our demo. We were not able to bring everything along in our small suitcases this morning. So Jelle and some of my other colleagues were working until late last night to at least create a video of the demo. And Jelle can talk you through it.
Yeah, thanks, Berit. So let me just shortly explain a little bit about the demo scenario that we have set up here. In the last image of Rutger, it's actually nicer drawn. We recreated it on the whiteboard. But this would represent Lagos, Nigeria, where the downstream part of the medical supply chain starts. So the upstream part from the manufacturers of the drugs to the National Distribution Center in Lagos is managed quite well through ERP systems. And there's not really a lot of lack of trust there. So the starting point was from the ERP system, the medicine arrives in the National Distribution Center in Lagos, and there we have deserialization data available on the pallets and the boxes inside the boxes of those medicine. Then in the middle, we have what is the governmental center of Nigeria, Abuja, somewhere in the middle of Nigeria, and a smaller city called Minna, west of Abuja, where a healthcare facility is. So what we're going to mimic here is the supply chain from the National Distribution Center to a regional distribution center to the healthcare facility in Minna. What you see there are 4 Raspberry Pis. We've added NFC readers to the Pis. So a Pi is just really a small microcomputer with an added NFC reader on top of it. The device costs about 20 to 30 euros, so they're rather inexpensive. And if you would harden them a bit, you can actually apply them in these more rural areas as well. What we did then is on the medicine boxes, we applied these NFC tags. These are reasonably tamper-proof NFC tags. And lastly, and this was actually an idea of another team that we Well, we kind of made an exchange. They were allowed to make use of our API, and we were allowed to make use of their ID to camouflage the medicine. So kind of like they do with the cigarettes, but for a completely different purpose. The idea is to not show on the box what is actually inside the medicine. So, yeah, reducing the incentive to actually steal it out of the supply chain. What is on the box is a QR code with which we can scan the medicine to see at the end of the supply chain whether it is a counterfeit medicine or not. So what happens there, the healthcare professional over here at the end of the supply chain, or the patient itself, can scan the medicine and can see the whole provenance of the medicine in the chain and actually make sure that this medicine was also there when it came onto the chain as the deserialization data entered the blockchain. So, like Berit said, last night we set up this demo environment. This is my colleague Sven. He's gonna actually take the steps to guide the medicine through the supply chain very nicely in the medicine box over there. So the first step is to see if it plays now. To take a pallet of medicine, so that you see there, now being checked out and now being checked in again in the regional distribution center. And then we deserialize it. So we go from the big box, so the pallet, to smaller cases, which we check out of the regional distribution center and we check in again at the healthcare facility. So you see it nicely popping up on the map as well. And then lastly, we scan it with just a regular QR code reader. And it takes us to a web address. So here, a bit of clumsiness, nice cut. And here, this is what the healthcare professional would see if he scans it. And he can see the provenance here. So the registration events, check in and check out, and at which location and which date. And then he can decide to dispatch the medicine to the patient. So this is what it looks like. He sees, okay, green, this is non-counterfeited medicine with the registration events. And when he dispatches it, we see here the whole provenance that the medicine took up until being checked out at the healthcare station. So that was the demo that we did. And we managed to build this in 48 hours. Of course, we did a little bit of prep work, mainly around the NFC reader, just to make sure that that would all work. But the whole effect of doing this in this weekend, and like I said, we borrowed an idea from another team, and we got a lot of inspiration from the track sponsors and the track mayors as well. So this really, yeah, the environment that we were in to actually produce this greatly helped. Now what we're gonna do next with this, we hopefully will sign on a client soon with which we can bring this into pilot. And we will harden our solution a bit better. So do a little bit more with the NFC tags, do a little bit more with the QR codes to also make those tamper-proof, which is possible. Yeah, and see that we can actually start piloting this in Nigeria. That's the idea.
Awesome, Jelle, Berit. Thanks so much. I know we are running a bit out of time, so
in the break.
Questions in the break.
Okay.
Yeah. So I want to present one opportunity to you all because we are also taking this to the EU level. Might be a bit sensitive here in Britain, but I would say let's keep collaborating. Yeah. So imagine you could have an intercontinental impact on the entry level in the market, right? And so the EU is basically presenting that opportunity to everybody who wants to make a difference with a team. So work with manufacturers, work with customs, work with logistics partners, ports, airports, work with retailers. How can Amazon prove that their third-party sellers aren't selling any fake products? And work with customers. Blockchain or identity by itself isn't going to change anything. You have to use it, and people will make that change. So therefore, I will invite you to become Blockchaingers. Thank you very much.